I did it again. Thank you. I'm having a very dyslexic day. So the cos is adjacent. Root 7 over hypotenuse 4. Okay, now we all happy? Me too. Okay, so just like we do this all for sine, we also do it for cos. Our cos function, quick sketch of our cos function, looks like this, from 0 to 2 pi. So to restrict the domain so that we have a one-to-one function that includes everything in the range, we just go from 0 halfway down to pi. So you need to know the domain restrictions for when you have cos inverse. And for tangent, we've got a lovely tangent graph on the backboard there. We're just going to follow one branch. And how about the first branch, which goes from negative pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, so quick sketch of your cos graph. Of your tangent graph. Okay, so let's take that same idea and try and simplify the cos of tan inverse x. Okay, so we've got function composition, work it from the inside out. Let's draw a picture of a triangle, of an angle. Okay, so this angle right here, this is the angle that has a tangent of x. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. And the answer to opposite over adjacent is x. That means the opposite must be x and the adjacent would be 1. Okay, so here is a picture of an angle that has a tangent of x, opposite over adjacent. I want you to tell me the cos of this angle. Well, the cos of this angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. What is the hypotenuse? Pythagoras. It would be the square root of x squared plus 1 squared, or x squared plus 1. So what is the cos of this angle? It is 1 over the square root of x squared plus 1. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, in your book, you're going to see a completely different way of finding this. I'm going to go over it with you. I think it's more complicated, but the logic is coming more from a proofs background than a visual one. So it goes like this. If you have to find cos of tan inverse x, you start by doing a substitution for tan inverse x. That is, we're going to let y equal tan inverse x. This will be in your textbook for those of you who have one, but I want you to understand the different way of explaining this, okay? So if y is tan inverse x, do you all see that that would mean that the tangent of y would have to equal x? I've just taken the tangent of both sides of my equation, and the tangent composed of its inverse gives me the input. Okay, here's something you all should know from Math 12. Secant squared y is equal to 1 plus tan squared y. That comes from your Pythagoras theorem. Sine squared plus cos squared is 1, and we divided both sides of the equation by cos squared. Secant squared is equal to 1 plus tan squared. Okay, which means that, well, if I said that tangent of y was x, then tan squared of y would be x squared. So I get this. Secant squared y is equal to 1 plus x squared. So what's the secant of y? Well, how about we take the square root of both sides? And then what is secant? Well, secant is just 1 over cos. So 1 over cos y is equal to square root of 1 plus x squared. We can solve this for cos y just by doing a little cross multiply. Multiply both sides by cos y. Divide both sides by the square root of 1 plus x squared. And we would get cos y is equal to 1 over the square root of 1 plus x squared. And what is y? Well, y is tan inverse x. So we've got the cos of tan inverse x is equal to 1 over the square root of 1 plus x squared. Just a different way of coming up with the answer to that. I kind of think the picture makes it easy. You could choose your option. You should have been able to, at minimum, follow what I was saying. Okay, let me just give you 3 triangles that will make all of this easy for you. This one, the arc sine A. So let's draw an angle that has a sine of A. So here's my angle. And there's an angle with a sine of A. That means that the opposite over the hypotenuse would have to be A. Pythagoras would tell you that this adjacent side is square root of 1 minus A squared. Let's do the same thing for arc cos A. So here's an angle with a cos of A. That means adjacent over hypotenuse is A. What's the opposite side? The square root of 1 minus A squared. Okay, and the last one. Here's an angle. This angle is arctan A, meaning this is the angle with the tangent of A. So opposite over adjacent is equal to A. And Pythagoras would tell us that the hypotenuse is 1 plus A squared. How much of this assignment have you finished? Okay, take out. Okay, so take and do the last 3 questions right now.